Goeienaand. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, my friends. Good evening, family. Good evening, UIM members. If I seem tired, it probably is because I am tired. Yes, I was vroegoggend op. We were up and I was up from 4 o'clock because we had to report at the meeting point at 5 o'clock. Nou, ek is nie 'n oggendmens nie, mense. I am not a morning person. Nou, my broer Neil de Beer weet, hy's baie stadig in die oggend. Moenie vir my moeilike vrae vra in die oggend nie, want die kans dat ek net ja gaan sê is baie groot. My eyes are open, but it does not mean that I am awake. But this morning I was awake. Let me explain where I was, why I was there. I'm sure by now you have seen the news reports and video clips and so on. So, this government, the president signed the act, the Employment Equity Act, which excludes South Africans, the people of mixed descent, the people of the descendants of the First Nation people, which is called the Coloureds in South Africa. So, so it was signed. So let me just explain what happens. A bill gets drafted or suggested, and then the bill needs to be discussed and rolled out and explained to community members. Like right now, the Bella Bill, which is the basic education law amendment, is being rolled out in the different communities, and people must come to halls, they must listen to the bill, and they must either object or give their ideas and so on. The Bella Bill has to do with our children and the education system, something which I will talk about at another stage. So that's what's happening now, before it gets signed as an act. Now, when it becomes an act, it means it becomes law. When it becomes law, it means it needs to be executed. So this excluding or Exclusion Equity Act, which is excluding colored people from the workplace, was accepted as a bill. I'm not sure which year, I can't remember which year it was, 2013 or so, and it was actually accepted and passed by the ANC and the DA. Now, I must also say the DA the people that were in Parliament then are not the same people that are in Parliament now, but some of them are the same people. But they helped to pass this bill. Here's the problem. The bill was never exposed to the public. Now, they would say that the bill was on the government gazette, blah, 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 maar hoeveel van ons gaan op die internet en gaan lees die government gazette? No, we don't. So, number one, that is illegal. And by right, we as the people must actually take this parliament to court and say you passed a bill without the consent or without the consulting of the people that is directly affected by this bill. So today we as a people from all over different communities, but the action was on Dekker Street, basically in Westbury and surrounding areas. So we cordoned off wat was baie lekker gewees julle. Dit het my laat dink aan my jong dae. And I actually remembered as a young person I used to do stuff like that. I was in marches, in the 80s to free us from apartheid. And let me just say something here. Mense wat so steke vang wanneer ons verwys na apartheid. Mense wat so vir ons sê, ag hou nou op om te praat oor apartheid. Apartheid sit in die verlede. Die apartheid het jou nie geraak nie. So moenie vir ons sê moenie praat oor apartheid nie. Dit hoef jou ook nie te raak nie, want jy het nie deelgeneem. If you are my generation, then you were also a child. Then you were also just there. It was the adults that were implementing the laws of apartheid. So jy moet nie steek van. Ek wil net dit sê. En ek raak nou baie moeg vir mense wat sê, ag, can you guys just leave apartheid out of this? Oh, well, you know what? We can't. But what we cannot do is blame the wrongs that is done by the current apartheid government, because they are now implementing apartheid rules. So what we cannot do now is say that the wrongs that they are doing is because of apartheid. No, apartheid is finished now. You understand what I'm saying? That is oor. However, the current government is now suppressing people, but they're very strategic. They're doing it deliberately. So ek wil net van vir julle gesê dat dit is wat ons gedoen het. Ons het gemarch en die verkeer heeltemal van 15 kilometer het ons die verkeer afgesny. Jy kon nie beweeg as jy op ontdekkers was nie. And that's the whole idea of a demonstration like that. People were very angry, blah, blah, blah. But the idea of doing that is to disrupt the normal flow of the country. Otherwise, it is not a demonstration. And I understand that some of us don't really know and we don't understand how these things work because you've never been part of it. You've never marched a day in your life. But some of us have. So we went to the different hospitals. We went to government buildings. We went to a place like ShopRite where we buy, but we are not being employed there. So in a nutshell, today was a great success, and after 14 days, we want answers. And if the answers are not what we expect, we will, on the 15th day, demonstrate again. And this time, we're not going to be so nice. So, julle VP is deel van die. Because you know what? This was a non-political, a anything. It was just human beings, people that are saying, you know what, enough is enough. This government is taking certain people for a one. They are disregarding the GBV against women. They are disregarding the farm killings. They are disregarding the nationality called the colored people. They are disregarding the fact that this country is being run by a bunch of, bring my nou by my volgende punt. Julle was allemaal daar gewees, julle het allemaal seker al gehoor. You've all heard of the word that these journalists, these presenters, I'm not sure which radio station it is, I know Darren works there, and that is the word. I had to practice this word, okay? My swaar wat 'n pastoor is, het dit vir my mooi opgebreek. Hoe om dit te sê, né? Julle moet nou saam met my sê, dit is, as jy dit in Afrikaans wil sê, moet jy dit opbreek, soos volg. Kakistocracy. Kakistocracy. In English, kak is tocracy. Kakistocracy. You know what kakistocracy is? It means that you are being governed by the worst people. Die slegste mense, the scum of the earth. We are currently being governed by the scum of the earth. And that is we call it the Kakistocracy. Now, obviously, that is the system. But die persoon is it's like when you speak about an aristocrat. Nou wat noem jy iemand wat deel is van die Kakistocracy? It is a Kakistocrat or a Kakistocraat. Nou gaan 'n tangtwister. So al die mense wat nou in parlement is, wat al hierdie bills en acts en goed deur laat gaan, is Kakistocrate. Right? Maar dis nie al die mense. The people that are also governing this country, because I went and when I hear something or see something, I always go and I scratch and I look for more information and so on. Then I found out that, oh my word, there's something like kleptocracy. A kleptocracy is when you are governed by a bunch of thieves. And the UIM has been saying for about 2 years, Neil de Beer always says it, we are not going to talk about just corruption and stuff like that. It's being thieves. So yes, we are being governed by kleptocrats. But there's a nicer word. It's kleptomaniacs. That you know that word. A kleptomaniac is someone who just steals. They're not even aware it's an illness, basically. They're not even aware that they are busy stealing. It is just in their nature. It's in their DNA. So we are being governed by Kakistocrats and kleptomaniacs, right? But lo and behold, there's a third one. We are also being governed by gerontocrats. Nou, 'n gerontocrat is nie fossiel of wat is die diere, die oudtydse diere. Dis moeilik, ek kan nie die woord onthou nie. Dinosaurs, well, hulle is dinosaurs daar in die parlement. But a gerontocrat is someone who is old. So it is also gerontocracy, which means being governed by old people. So number one, we are governed by the worst, the scum of the earth. Ek sien hulle die enetjie nou geskort uit die party uit vir Ys Magashule. Hy's nou kan maar uit die ANC uit. But he needs to go to jail. But they won't send him to jail. It's just not in their DNA. We are governed by the worst people, which is Kakistocracy. And we are governed by thieves, which is kleptomaniacs, kleptocracy. We are governed by gerontocracy, which is old people. The worst old people that steals. That is who's governing us. That is why you're missing the whole democracy. This is not a democracy, it is a catastrophe. Because we are living in a Gerontocracy. Mense so deur mekaar soos hy woord is, net so deur mekaar is hierdie land. You know it, I know it, you're experiencing it on different levels. And because we are in this Gerontocracy, stuff like the GBV, the farm killings, the fact that there's no jobs, for the statistics, guys, for unemployment is just unbelievable. That more than 60% of our young people are unemployed. The crime stats is crazy. Daai lelike ding met sy lelike hoed. He was just reading the stats like he's reading the newspaper. Like it's just nothing to him. Nou sit die ding in China om wat te maak, om wat te gaan leer. He needs to go. He is a geriatric. He's old. And that's why that is not the focus. They don't care about that because they're too old. They're too busy stealing. And they are too disgusting. Right? They are focusing on bills and acts. Hulle krap ons net die hele tyd om. The hate speech bill, the NHI, the Bella bill, the EEA. And those things, while we are so busy being derailed by all of that, the one huge concern, yes, I understand that everything that we are facing is a huge challenge for us. I've mentioned quite a few times, but there is something that is happening that very few people are really talking about. And that is the human trafficking, the child trafficking. The other day, a few months ago, I spoke to Nadia, and you will be surprised at what is really going on underground, under our noses. Let me tell you something. And I want you to listen to me very carefully. This LGBTQIA B, C, D, E, F, G, has got nothing to do with people's sexual orientation. Listen, as the UIM, we really don't care what you do in your private time. As jy voel jy identifiseer as 'n boom, daar gaan jy. If you feel you identify as a freaking tile, it is fine. If you want to have sexual relations with a fence, it's fine. We don't care. But here's the thing, people. This whole move has got nothing to do with the rights of people from the LGBTQI community. Why is it suddenly so much in our faces? Because there's a different agenda behind that agenda. I do believe, and when I say I would like to believe that I am representing the United Independent Movement. We believe that everybody has the right to live, to be protected, to be educated, and that includes the community members. I don't want to separate them, but it includes the people from the LGBTQI community. They have the right to be protected. They have the right to housing. They have the right to love one another. We are not a church. We are a political party. Each to their own. Everyone has to answer before a living God what you have done with your life. We are not here to go to sit and play policeman over your life. The problem does come in, however, when the rights of the LGBTQI people is being shoved down the throats and the spaces and the rights of the heterosexual people. That is when it becomes a problem. When you want to invade my space because you want to assert yourself, while I am not invading your space, I am respecting who you are. Right? It does become a problem when our children are being conscientized. Now, I know it's not happening here in South Africa yet. It's happening in the UK, it's happening in the USA, because the scum, the real scum of the earth is there in the USA. Al die rubbish wat ons sien en ervaar kom van daai kant af. So right now they're having these queer queens coming into children's schools and children's spaces, dancing vile dance moves and so on, conscientizing and grooming our children to make them feel it is normal to engage sensually with adults. Right? We don't have a problem with people who are differently sexually orientated. We have a problem with the fact that the government wants to open toilets. They call it unisex toilets, where our little girls and our little boys are exposed to adults, are exposed to sick people. I'm going to tell you now where I'm going, and where my stem is besig om te gaan. I do have a problem with the fact that spiritual leaders are being forced. Their licenses are being revoked if they don't want to marry same-gender people. Dit is mos hulle reg om te sê nie hulle wil nie. There are churches, however, who are very much open to that. Kudos to you. Go to them, get married there. They call it a, what union? Something like a legal union. It's not a marriage. They don't get a marriage certificate. They get a legal union. Okay? Don't infringe on the rest of the world's rights. But I'll tell you now why they're doing that. I have a problem when the heterosexual is being judged for being heterosexual. It's like this whole movement is angry at people who wants to identify as heterosexual. So everyone else can identify as whatever they want to, but heterosexuals mustn't identify as heterosexuals. We are saying everybody has a right to whatever, but one person's right must not infringe on the next person's right. So here's the problem. This is called the rainbow agenda. You know the flag of the LGBTQI community is the rainbow. Very nice flag. But there's a rainbow agenda. What is the rainbow agenda? The rainbow agenda is to groom children into pedophilia. It is to make it normal for. There's a country, I don't know which country is it, Canada or whatever, nog of veel land. Please don't send me forms about immigrating to those countries. Ek bly net hier, so I know the demons that are living here. I am not prepared to face those other ones. So the rainbow, and when niks, I don't want to be associated with any rainbow anything. Rainbow nothing for me. Moenie praat van rainbow pet en rainbow comedy, rainbow niks nie. Right? Die rainbow, al wat ek ken van die rainbow is die Here se rainbow. But the rainbow agenda is pedophilia. This whole everything, the Kabbalic global agenda, even the Ukraine rubbish that is happening now, thousands of children are being removed from underground caves and tunnels. There are people who are actually, and it's not out there. No, I heard today of people, women, that are getting babies to sell. That's how far off this world, this country has become. Why am I talking about this on the UIM page? Because the Kakistocracy is providing, is accommodating, is facilitating all of that. Because the Cleptocracy is stealing the coffers empty so that the cabal can actually, it's already done. And why are they targeting the children? The Bible says, suffer the little children to come unto me, for theirs is the kingdom come. Is the most precious human beings for God. I march today for people that I don't even know. I don't know my grandchildren. They haven't been born yet. I have marched for my daughter and my son and my friends' children and everybody's children. I marched on behalf of people that are currently voiceless. I march for people that I still have to get to know. It's my grandchildren. But this Kabbalic, demonic, globalistic system, it's a system, and it's also a spirit, is out to get our children. So we need to fight this, not just physically, not just politically, but also spiritually. There is a war going on. I watched my brother's video earlier about the 9 police officers that were shot at, of whom 2 passed away. And I must say, let me pause here regarding this afternoon's demonstration, march, strike, whatever you call it. Wow. I just want to say kudos and thank you so much to the South African police as well as JMPD. They have been working with us since this morning. Well, this morning I kind of clashed with a few people because I'll be getting my nerves gewerkt. But the rest of the day, they were there. Hulle die paaie afgekordon. They saw to it that everything flows beautifully and smoothly. They did their jobs. And it is a sad day when the people that is supposed to be law enforcement agents or servants are being slaughtered. It is a sign of a feit wat uitstaan bo water, that we are in a war zone, guys. We are in a war zone. People that are losing their lives equals to that as a country that is in war. And we need to wake up and realize that this is not normal. Will I tell you something? Today was not, there was no, oh, by the way, I didn't, ek het niks gevoel van die aardbewing nie. Absoluut niks nie. I missed that one. Wonder how you guys, have you felt it? Ek was in Pretoria. As jy in Pretoria kry nooit enigiets nie, voor toch. Selfs aardbewings van ons af. Weggehou. Net op 'n ligte noot. Ek wil nie julle met so ernstig is nie. Dit is it's a very serious topic, but I don't want you to get into a mode of depression. So what was my point? So the policemen that lost their lives, we must always remember they have families. They are normal people like us, and that is a job that they are doing. So can never be normal. Oh, here's the thing that I wanted to say. Today was no load shedding, and it was weird for us. Everybody was like, wanneer gaan die ligte af? Of wanneer gaan die krag? Some of the traffic lights didn't work just because they don't work. But then then someone would say, no, today is not load shedding. Then someone else would ask, really? Why? Do you realize that we have become used to the abnormal, that the normal has become abnormal to us? We are supposed to be used to having electricity every day, but we have become used to not having electricity every day. That is because of the Kakistocracy that we are living in. That is because of the Cleptocracy that we are being deprived of stuff that is rightfully ours. Now, I'm going to make a political statement, and that is, I do believe that this country deserves much better. There's a different way that we can govern ourselves, that we can manage ourselves, that we don't want to rule each other. We want to manage one another, and we want to govern one another. Because the minute you start ruling, I've seen how it works. Me, myself, and ek wil nie gerule word nie, man. Van kleins af. Jy kan my nie rule nie. The minute you want to rule the next person, you want to exert your will, your ideas, your rules upon the next person. Jy maak hulle hard. You make them rebellious. I will never forget. I was a prefect / deputy head girl at school many moons ago. And one of the rules was that we should send children back home if they are not wearing their full school uniform. Ek kom van 'n township af. Dis suburbs nie. So there's challenges in the suburb. So the school uniform was very plain and simple. Grey pants, white shirt, and we were wearing brown jerseys. So the boys, some of the boys that were not from well-off houses, actually from poor houses, they were wearing pants called dickies. Now, dickies you can use duly. Jy kan het weekends dra, kerk toe, wherever, en jy kan het school toe dra. But now the rule said, no, everyone must wear grey school uniform. Okay, nice. For me, that is a grey pants. Never mind that it is a dickies pants. So I would let the boys in. I didn't chase them home. And then I was called in because one of the other idiots reported me and said, ja, Fatima, meneer Fatima, maak dat die kinders wat nie skooluniform het in die jaar ten kom. So I was called in. So I was asked, so why are you letting children that are not wearing, boys that are not wearing their school uniform come in? I asked, okay, what's the school uniform? No, it's grey pants and a white shirt. So I said, yeah, that Dickies is a grey pants. And he's wearing a white shirt. What's the problem? Is it more important for that boy to wear a school pants, which he cannot afford? He has bought himself a Dickies pants that can work for the week and for the weekend. Is it more important for that to be done or to be adhered to than for him to actually be at school? You see, sometimes rules are actually just written to control people. And the more you want to control people, the more you will make people the donor in, the more they don't want to be ruled. So in the end, we had to change the rule at the school to say, as long as it is a grey pants. and children came to school, they got educated. Sometimes we really need to think what we really want to achieve by just putting down rules. Okay, next. My idea of how this country, isn't it my idea? I don't know if there's a name for this system that I have in mind. It's just my suggestion. Okay? Ek het neergeskryf so ek kan nie alles met kop het hoor. South Africa is a different type of system, governing system. I've seen it over the weekend. I went to a presentation. I think that's what inspired me, that every little city, every burb, every township can look after themselves. The people, I'm not talking about councillors and stuff like that, because it's not working. We know, a lot of us know that some of our councillors are really irrelevant. So my idea, or what I saw, is that the people will choose a leader, right? And that leader must be worth his salt. And that leader is basically managing the little dorpie or township or so on, but he will have his people, his committee, right? And then also each province will have to govern themselves, but they govern themselves with the assistance of all these little dorpie managers, okay? Not the normal city managers that we're talking about now. And then we have multiple people representing the dorp or the city or the metro or what they call in different committees, not party related. Ek sou bitter graag wil wegmaak van al die partye, because this party politics is messed up. People are fighting each other because they are wearing different colored t-shirts. It's utter rubbish. So in my mind, there shouldn't be any political parties. And the people that are representing the people must be chosen by the people. It must be gender representative. Hoe ek het vandag gesien, vrouens is taf voor. Hoorie, as jy nou 'n tawwe mens wil sien, dan moet jy gaan kyk na 'n colored vrou. Heerlikheid, hulle is harde mense. Hulle is harder as die colored manne. But anyway, it must be gender representative. Nie te veel mans, te veel vrouens nie. 50-50. Right? Now, the National Assembly should not be this huge one, which is absolutely useless. The National Assembly must be representative of the provincial leaders and only 20 ministers, soos Neil de Beer sê. Net 20 ministers het ons nodig, right? And the suburbs and the leaders must all give in their reports of how the monies were spent, and so they will have their own budget. Because every dorp, every township, every area has got their own dynamics and needs and so on. And the governing entities that are looking after the food, the safety, the security, etc., must be managed by the city, by the people that are representing the little cities. We must become not a smart city, we must become a smart country, but not the smart that the globalists have in mind to control people, but really smart. And then spiritually, met ons al die sangoma stoor doctors, witch doctors, en al hierdie demonic practicing, demon practicing, Satan, devil worshippers, must be completely rooted out. Ons moet hulle wegbid, kan hulle nie doodbid, waar gaan hulle hel toe? As hulle regbid, dat die Here aanneem, and I feel that there must be at least 1 hour every day designated to prayer. Imagine that in your workplace, they say, okay, for your 1 hour, instead of van die heel middag gaan staan en rook en eet en so aan, 1 hour we also give to you to go and pray. Any hour, doesn't matter. That there can be a spiritual cleansing in the atmosphere. Sien julle wat gaan gebeur as ek president is eendag? Now, here's the most important thing for me. Now I'm going to finish off with this. The president of the country must not be chosen by the party that he represents, like what is happening right now. Every person that is representing the little, the provinces, as well as the 20 ministers, which is representative of different in our case at the moment, it will be from different parties. They choose the president. The parliament members, the parliamentarians, chooses the president. Now imagine that happens. Here we go to parliament, different parties and so on. And then they say, okay, now it's time to choose the president. But we will consult with the people, the public. Okay, so yes, so this is what must happen. The parliament must choose 3 people. From those 3 people, we have the names, etc. It's Neil de Beer, blah, 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 blah. We ask the public, who do you feel must be the president of South Africa? Now, so the public will participate, and in parliament, we will also choose the person. Then we look at how the two work together, and then from there, we choose the president. Now, for me, the best candidate as president of this country is niemand anders as Albertus Cornelius de Beer. Neil de Beer is vir my die beste kandidaat om die president te wees. Hoekom? Hy is oopkop. Hy ken, he knows the belly of the beast. He's been there, done that, got the t-shirt. He knows international systems. He knows how to engage with everybody on every level. And most importantly, he has a passion for South Africa. And he's very knowledgeable and he's able to communicate and manage and govern as well. Weet jy wie van julle stem saam met my nie? As julle saamstem, steek up your hand. Please put up your hands and say, yes, I agree Neil de Beer to be the president of South Africa. It is possible, guys. So, today in Whispering, I met so many people that says, hey, we follow you. We follow you on Facebook. We know the UIM. We know Neil de Beer. I posted something of a lady that had a message for Neil de Beer. They know us. So guess what? One day, at some stage when Neil de Beer comes back to Gauteng again, he needs to go to Whispering because Whispering people says they like us. They will vote for us. Amazing. Join us. www.uimsa.org. Go there, click on membership, contact our people. They're putting down details here on Facebook. And if you say, and I see people in Polokwane and that area that says, wanneer gaan Neil kom, wanneer gaan Neil kom? Kom ek verduidelik julle die. Neil kan nie kom vir 2 en 3 wat in sy naam vergader nie. You understand? It must be worth a while because it costs us money. Unless you say, listen, we've got at least 50 to 70 people in a hall, and we will be able to pay for Neil's flight and also accommodation. Because ons is nie 'n ryk party nie. Ons is nie hierdie partye wat funding kry van die government af nie. En ons vat ook nie kickbacks nie. Ons vat ook nie chocho nie. Ons is just a plain and simple party that has a passion for people. Please join us. Please make it happen. And you put up your hand. I love it when people say, julle moet bietjie iemand hier in Limpopo, in Nylstroom, in kom hoe sê mense, julle moet iemand hierso kry in daai plek. Julle bly daarso. Julle bly in die plek waar julle sê ons moet mense kry. Julle kry die mense vir ons. Julle verstaan die dinamika van die gemeenskap. So if you know of someone who's dynamic, who's passionate, who's got integrity in your community, contact that person and let that person contact our people. Let our people, and then our people will contact your people. And the best person that will be able to contact your people is Diane. I'm going to look for a number now. Ek ken nog nie almal se nommers uit my kop uit nie. Okay. So if you've got someone in mind that you know is dynamic, etc., and you feel, wow, this person will be a good match for the UIM, by all means, give them Diane's number, 076-482-2426. Let them contact her and say, hi Diane, my name is Fatima. I love the UIM. I'd like to do something in the in Polokwane or wherever for the UIM. There we go. And then she will guide you and help you and, place you in a in a group, etc. Then our marketing tools. Last week I did explain how the t-shirting works. You your printer of choice needs to contact Diane again and ask for the artwork so that we can have uniformity, and also the forms that gives that entity or that company. Ek moet water drink. Ek het baie geskreef vandag. Ek het geskreef vir die mense en die polisie. Okay? But we've got other marketing tools as well. There's nice, they call it, is it now puffs and jackets and hoodies and so on that you can also order through Diane, right? Do that and just participate in everything that the UIM is busy. One of the other things that the UIM is busy with is participating in the by-election, which is taking place on the 28th of June, the 28ste Junie. Neem ons deel aan 'n by-election. Why are we participating in a by-election? My goodness, because we need to get used to participating in elections, and because it gives us the opportunity to market the UIM. Because the Saturday and the Saturday before, we had the right to go and stand on a corner and give out flyers because we are participating in a by-election. While we are doing that, we are marketing the UIM. Why are we marketing the UIM? Because next year is elections. 2024 is elections. We haven't acquired the skill to communicate with people through our brains and tell them, hey, there's a party called the UIM. Participate, vote for us, and so on and so on. So we have to go out there physically. There's people who has never heard of the UIM. They don't go on Facebook, they don't go on social media and so on. We need to reach them. There are lots of people that are on social media, but those people, we've captured them already. We need to capture more. Because ons is greedy. Ons soek nog mense. You understand? Not really. So, please, if you are in the area, Ward 83, Pretoria, Erasmus Kloof en al die klowens daar, so, kom ondersteun. Ons gaan hierdie Saterdag weer daar wees. Ons is Saterdag, die 17de. Ons gaan die 17de weer daar is, Neil de Beer gaan weer daar wees. Jy weet, allemaal gaan weer uitkom. Allemaal wat so verdoen het, hulle gaan uitkom en hulle gaan daar wees. Jy, saam met ons pamflet uitkry en so aan. Maak die saak nie, bietjie maak baie. The more the merrier. So, the 16th of June, Neil is going to be in the Eldorado Park, and Lenasia, and then this, let me get that. Guys, you must help me here. The 17th, that's the veel goed wat ek moet onthou, so ek kan nie alles onthou nie. I need to tell you. The 17th, you will be, besides that, you will be in just walking through Pretoria. This was it. Right. 16th, he will be in Eldorado Park, Klipspruit, and then he will go to Lenasia. Okay? If you're in those areas, please pop up, come say hi. We will be feeding people in Eldorado Park. We will go to a community meeting in Lenasia. Then we're going to have something to eat by Banu, who's also a member. Then on the 17th, about 12 o'clock, so the morning, 8 o'clock, 8 till 10-ish, Neil will be there in Erasmus Kloof with the team that is campaigning in Ward 83. And then we are going to shoot through to Vereniging, daar by Marlezay. We are going to go to the Val showgrounds and have some fellowship there with the people. So we will be moving around. I'm not sure what's happening on the 18th, but we will let you know. But be there. And if you can't be there, uh, pray that everything, goes well and that we are safe and etc. etc. Okay, guys. So have yourselves a wonderful evening. Ek het groot sakke hier onder my oë. Ek dink net slaap gaan dit help. Want ek is meer as 12 ure wakker. So, but it was fun. It was fun and it was worth the while. Everything that you do when you go to bed at night, ask yourself, was it worth it? Did it make a difference? God bless you. Until next time.